Hey guys, welcome to this month's wellness webinar with Jared and Amanda here at Fit to Last.
This is our first wellness webinar for 2022.
Yeah, it is. It's February, my birthday month, which is more important than the webinar, quite frankly.
Moving on.
So a topic we have chosen for today, or for this webinar, is something that it's been suggested by a few people, but it's something that when you work in this industry of health and fitness, you get asked this all the time, don't you? You get asked about this particular topic quite a lot.
I feel like it's definitely asked about, but I think it's more assumed and just like done than asked about. And by done, I mean like people don't really know why they're doing it. It's just the culture of what they think they know is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, it's 100%. It's almost like the you have to eat lettuce to lose weight kind of thing.
That kind of thing, yeah.
So
which we know is actually BS.
This is the exercise equivalent of that. This is the physical equivalent of that.
The topic that we are going to unlock today is why excess cardio is working against you.
Now, we're not saying cardio is bad. Not in any way, shape, or form. It's another form of physical activity. What we're saying is
keyword was excess.
Too much cardio is working against you. Because the reason we want to bring this up, and we've got three points we want to sort of cover with this, is that people do assume that cardio is the only way to lose weight.
For sure.
When you get active, you do cardio. Like I do my cardio classes or my aerobics class, or I run, or I get on the treadmill, and that's all I should do.
And without being super gender specific as
you
well.
You have to be though.
But
you really have to be, I think, with this one, because
let's be honest. Yes, it is more common for women to, when they start exercising, to get into cardio.
Yeah.
Whereas men generally start
men
with
do weights,
strength training.
Cardio.
Yeah, and that is such like a 70s, 80s style of like
and it's funny
mindset.
Because it's exactly right though. That's how the gyms always used to organize things. The weights floor would be for the men. The group fitness classes would predominantly be for the women.
Yeah.
And when you attended a gym, that's where each gender tends to just sort of gravitate towards. It's almost like built into our DNA these days.
And it is changing. It is definitely changing. We are seeing more women that
look at the women that do a lot of our harder strength-based classes.
Yeah, or even if you go into a gym, which I don't frequent, but you know, when you do go into gym, I know that there are more women in the weights areas, and there are more men that are attending group fitness classes, maybe not so much in a gym, but definitely things like CrossFit and boot camps and different styles of classes that are higher intensity, higher in cardio. So the first topic that we want to cover today,
it's a
bit of a myth.
It's a topic, it's a myth.
Yeah, we're going to bust the myth of cardio is how you get fit and lose weight.
And it's also that the myth is also that cardio is the only way to lose weight. If I want to lose weight, got to run. Got to go to aerobics classes. Got to get the heart rate up. It's all about getting the heart rate up, isn't it? Like this is why we check these things all the time. Check my heart rate, make sure. And we celebrate after class, like, my heart rate got to 275, and all this kind of nonsense.
Your Fitbit or your Apple Watch is the validation for the calories that you've just burned.
Not great.
And you know what? They're really cool. Like, not going to lie, I love my Apple Watch for sure, but they're not necessarily accurate in terms of the information it's providing you. It's literally spitting out information based on what you put in. So if you're consistently using the same watch, then yes, of course, you're going to be able to track whether you're getting better or improving, but it's not necessarily giving you the most accurate information about how many dress sizes you've just lost.
So let's bust the myth about why cardio is the most efficient. Let's call it most efficient way to lose weight, because I think that's how people look at it. It's the most efficient way to lose weight. Is it? No, certainly not the most efficient way to lose weight. It tends to be a good place for people to start. So if you have never exercised a day in your life where you're feeling really out of condition, or maybe you're recovering from an injury, or it's been years since you've done anything physical, it is a good place to start. Like, it can be an easier place for people to start to.
Absolutely.
Go for a light jog, go for a walk, things like that.
And also what's cool about those is it doesn't require money.
No.
It doesn't require a certain body shape or fitness level to just go out for a walk or like a run or getting on a bike or going for a swim or something like that. They're pretty simple things that you can start with.
Yeah. But why is it not the most efficient way for you to lose weight? Why? Because Basically, your body burns more calories, and we know that burning calories and burning energy is the way that you start to reduce your body fat. And that's what we talk about when we talk about losing weight. Body fat is generally what we're talking about because nobody wants to lose muscle, right? But cardio is only effective up to a point. You can only burn calories while you're doing the cardio activity. So you only burn calories when you're going for that run, the 10 minutes you're on the treadmill. So what you do in that window, that's it. That's the workout right there.
So if we go back to the myth then, cardio is how you get fit and lose weight. How would you explain as to why that's not necessarily the most effective way?
Because as I was getting to, your body burns calories. That's what we're talking about, burning body fat. But the more muscle you have in your body, the more lean muscle you have in your body, the more efficient your body burns calories, the more efficient your body is at burning off that energy. And when you do a workout that is more strength-based, whether it's using your body weight, you're doing push-ups or you're doing weights or you're doing a gym class that has, any kind of resistance against it, your body not only burns calories during that session, not only does your heart rate get up from the effort of lifting something or putting resistance against your body, but it continues to burn after that. It's an effect we call in fitness the afterburn. And that is where your body will continue to burn calories long after that workout has finished.
So, okay, that's all good and well for you to say as like a big, muscly, strong guy who lifts weights, right? But what about me as a female who, I just want to like lose weight, tone up. I don't really want to go and lift weights and get really bulky. So are you saying that I shouldn't be doing cardio?
No, you should, but it shouldn't be your focus. It really shouldn't be a focus. So when we talk about, and it's just another point we wanted to actually talk about already, we kind of already jumped ahead to that. But Amanda's wanted to ask about the percentage, the mixture of how much cardio and how much strength training you should be doing on a weekly basis.
Well, if we break it down, and if I maybe reworded that question, is it the same for men and women? Like, should men be doing the same amount of cardio as women? Should women be doing the same amount of strength training as men?
Yeah, I think for most people, as the human body, it does tend to be a very similar mixture there.
And isn't that interesting? Because that, like really we said in the beginning, isn't the typical mindset of what we've been taught, right?
It's funny because we look at, and I hear this a lot from our female clients, I've heard it for years and years and years, is it's so easy for men to just lose weight.
Yeah, no,
that is true. That is true. It is easier.
It is.
And do you know why it's easier?
Because you have more muscle.
Yes, because testosterone produces muscle, so it's easier for men to gain lean muscle. Okay, it just naturally is. Like I said before, the more lean muscle you have in your body, the more efficient it is at burning those calories off. So that's why when we look at guys who, for example, just lift weights, they don't do anything else. They don't run. They don't go to cardio classes. You rarely see them jump on the treadmill, but they're very lean. And why is that? It's because of all the strength training they do, the lean muscle they're putting into their body, that it's more efficient at burning those calories all day long. Whereas when you're going to your 1 hour gym class that is just cardio, just doing your aerobics, you get that 1 hour window where you're effectively burning those calories. And then after that, nothing. So it tends to be a little bit easier. Same with girls. You watch girls who just do strength training with a little cardio, and they do. It's easier for them to maintain that more shapely physique, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And obviously we know that coming from, a heavy background in fitness and understanding the anatomy and how it works. But on a really basic level, like as a woman, it is definitely conditioned into us through, the 70s and the 80s where things like aerobics started to get really popular, and that was the exercise women did, right? So it is interesting watching how things are starting to change now, I guess, and women are trying, more strength-based things, and men are starting to diversify their types of training as well.
But we're also seeing now that the group fitness classes, and that is an area of the market we know that women are more drawn towards than men.
Yeah,
because women like to be around. They like to train with people. They like the motivation of having other people. Often like to train with music or atmosphere and things like that. Men are not as drawn to that generally.
If you guys have followed us for a while, obviously you'll know Jared and I have 20 2 years between us of experience in teaching group fitness and running our own group fitness businesses. So we're pretty well experienced in that. And we would be lying if we didn't say that our higher, I guess, demographic or target market is women, right? That's definitely for sure. And I do think women are a bit more social as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So men are happy to put headphones in, go to the weights and just leave me alone. That's what they do.
Yeah,
it tends to be more of a male thing to do, or they'll go for a run on their own.
Yeah, or maybe like take a spin class or a CrossFit class or something.
They don't have to be sort of mingling and associating with people as much.
For sure.
But what we're seeing now is when I was talking about those group fitness classes, and we know that that's where women are more likely to exercise in general, we're seeing more strength-based classes. We're seeing classes that incorporate those like high-intensity interval training where we're pushing and we're working with our body weight and we're really expending a lot of energy. We're seeing those classes become more popular.
And isn't that interesting, even in our own business, where we have, for years now introduced things like high-intensity interval training, functional type training, boot camps, strength-based training, even as a group fitness class, they're still predominantly women who are attending now. And the classes that maybe were really, really full that we used to teach, 8, 9, 10 years ago that did have some of those same women in it, they don't really come to anymore.
No,
those more like maybe dance-based or like cardio-based classes.
More into the classes that make them stronger.
They tend to come and get that really like hard-hitting, stronger workout. And I think it's a combination of, society is changing and women are starting to like understand how their bodies feel when they do those classes, but also we have definitely spent a ton of time educating our clients as well.
Understanding that by doing strength workouts, because the fallacy has always been, and this is a total fallacy, that you do weights or you do strength, you automatically end up.
Yeah, for sure.
That's complete and utter rubbish. You don't. You really, especially as a woman, you have to train real hard to look like that. I mean, it's not natural. It doesn't come naturally.
I have actually done a body sculpting competition before, many, many sleeps ago. And I must admit that was one thing that before I even knew, about strength training in the body and how it all worked, that was one thing that I thought, I was like, oh, if I want to go and stand on stage, am I going to get really bulky if I start lifting weights? And once I started to, get educated on, it was around the time I was studying to be a personal trainer. So I actually started to learn about the anatomy and how it works. It's actually physically impossible for a woman to get really, really bulky like a male can naturally because we actually just don't have the level of testosterone in our bodies. No. You would have to be supplementing, more than likely something illegal, to be able to look like that, right?
So the natural thing when women tend to do more strength training, and I love seeing the difference when they do, and for them the realization when they actually do it, that they don't end up with like ripped muscles and arms. They end up with just shape.
Yeah.
They end up with the shape, which is what most women, from my experience, I don't know about you, that's what they have in their head when they first start coming to an exercise class, and in their head they're like, I want to lose weight, but that's what they're picturing.
Yeah. Well, when I take on a new personal training client, I always get them to fill out a questionnaire. And one of the first questions is, what do you want to achieve? And over the last 10 years of doing this, I can with certainty say that 90% of the answers that I get written on that very first question is lose weight, tone up. And so one of my most fun things that I love, having a chat with my new female clients about is actually helping them to change their language around what they mean when they say they want to lose weight, tone up. It's not actually what they want to do. They don't actually want to lose weight and tone up. What they're saying is they want to drop body fat and gain muscle. Yeah. That is actually what they're saying.
Their shape.
They just don't know that that's the right words. And so what's really cool is when we start training and I have these like really fancy schmancy scale things that tell you all about how much body fat you've got, how much muscle mass you've got, what your bone density is, what a metabolic age is. Yeah, okay, it tests your weight as well, and that's like the least relevant thing on there I look at. And what's one of my favorite things is educating women about what all of those numbers mean. And it's really cool when you can start setting goals every 6 weeks with them that, okay, so if their goal was to, quotation marks, lose weight, tone up, when we start seeing the number of the body fat percentage go down and the muscle mass go up. And what's really cool is sometimes their weight doesn't change at all,
but their
composition has changed, their shape has changed, they're noticing it in their clothes. And it's that light bulb moment where they're like, I get what you've explained to me now. So,
and to see the benefit themselves once they trust you to just guide them through that whole process and say, look, see. But not only do you end up looking better, which is what people start off wanting to exercise for, but the difference is not only in how they feel, but how much easier their life becomes, like physically around them to just do like everyday activities that used to be a bit of a struggle. And they're like, oh, go up and down the stairs like this now, groceries, no problem. I can pick the kids up, I can do this. And it's like I can get up and down.
And it's like I found
it's amazing.
I found like it's a really slow process on, I guess you've got to like uneducate your client first before you can slowly re-educate them about that because they've been conditioned mindset wise in such a way for such a long time. So allowing them to be open to that and then actually experience the results where they can go, right, okay, I'm open to more information. Tell me more how that works.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It really is to see that. So
let's talk about the difference, I guess, between, and you touched on it before, between cardio versus strength training. Like, let's talk about what actually happens in the body when you're doing something really, really huffy puffy versus when you're lifting something really heavy.
Okay. Would you want to start talking about cardio?
Okay.
What happens when you're
obviously cardio is a shortened word for cardiovascular. Cardiovascular meaning heart, right? And so what happens is when you're doing cardio type training, so it might be running, swimming, biking, you could be doing a class.
Dancing.
Anything like that where your heart rate is elevated and you're huffing and you're puffing. What's happening in your body is you are, like Jared said before, you're burning calories, you're burning energy, okay? But the moment that activity stops and your breath has come back to normal, you've stopped burning calories.
Because your body doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah, so the amount of calories and energy that you burn in a cardio exercise session literally just happens in that space of time that you're exercising. And it's really important that we do cardio because the heart is a muscle. We have to exercise that. We need to have blood pumping through the body, oxygen pumping through the body. So it is an important part of your training, but the results that you'll get from that cardio session will only be when you're in that work set.
They're limited, very, very limited. And surprisingly, people don't burn as many calories as they think they do in their
or their Apple Watch or Fitbit tells them.
Tells them you probably burnt a couple of chips from dinner if you had that from a cardio session. So on its own, it's not effective. And the hard thing with just doing cardio is that as you get fitter, your body gets more and more efficient at doing that activity. Like you're better at running. I can run longer. Your body works not as hard. Every time you do that session, your body has the less effort, which means the amount of calories it's going to burn to do the activity go. Which means you have to work technically. If you want to burn the same amount of calories this month, but now you're fitter, your body is only burning this many calories. So you have to work twice as hard now. Or you have to run twice as long. Or you have to do it for longer time to try and get the results that you were getting last month.
So that makes sense. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So cardio is important and it's definitely something that you should do. But let's talk about how strength training works, and then we will... I reckon we'll put the two together, like what would be a great split.
So if you were strength training, let's just talk very basic strength training, We're doing some squats. We're doing some basic weightlifting with some, doesn't even have to be heavy weights. Weights don't have to be ridiculously oversized. We're just talking about putting resistance against your body where your muscles need to engage to do something.
It can even be body weighted.
Yeah, totally. Push-ups, squats, brilliant. You can do all that. So what's happening is not only is your heart rate increasing because it has to pump blood into those muscles, a lot more blood than should be there normally. Your muscles have to engage, which means your core temperature goes up, which means your body's burning all these calories to do that effort, to do whatever it is, lift it, squat down, push up, any of those things. And as you're doing that activity, there are little tiny tears that start to happen in that muscle. That's the fatigue you start to feel.
Called micro tears.
Micro tears, because they're really tiny. They're not like, it's not like your muscles have ripped open or anything like that. Tiny little tears. And that's the fatigue you start to feel like, oh, I can't do any more of this. That's good. So you're burning calories while that activity is happening. But then what has to happen? Your body needs to go and repair those tears. It needs to build it back up again. It needs to go in and repair.
So, like when you've done a really hard workout and then you get really sore, like the next day or the day after, that the soreness that you're feeling is the little micro tears in the muscles.
Do you think it takes effort for your body to continue to repair that process of what you just did?
Yeah.
It's like if I built a brick wall right here and then I took a sledgehammer to it for half an hour and I started to knock some bricks out and the mortar in between is now cracked. It's going to take me a day to put that back together, right? I have to go back, put the bricks back up, put the mortar back in, do all the things. But I'm going to build it back a bit stronger because if I'm going to hit it with the same sledgehammer tomorrow, I don't want it to break. So that's how your body gets that little bit stronger, is not only does it build it back, but it builds it back that little bit stronger to cope with what you just did. And that whole process for the next 24 hours, that's your body burning more calories to do that.
So if you've ever heard that saying, like, burn fat while you sleep.
That's that.
Which is a bit of like a macho man type saying, but it's actually true. That's what's happening is your body is using energy. It's burning calories to be able to repair those muscles, the little micro tears that you made. So long after you finished your workout, you're actually still burning calories.
Which is why that method of training is so effective, is why it's great. Putting those two things together, which is more like high intensity interval training and things like that, which if you follow us would be classes like Strong, even our Hustle Fit programs exactly that. Hustle Fit does the same thing.
Combines strength and cardio training in the one.
Because your muscles are engaging and your heart rate is getting up. So your cardiovascular system, your heart, is learning how to work more efficiently. But at the same time, you're also using those muscles. So you do get that added benefit of, we burned a lot of calories during the class because we got our heart rate up, we're jumping around, we're doing whatever. And then my body has to also repair the damage you just did.
Why those classes are also cool as well is when you combine that style of training, like those two styles together, like before we said, if you went for a run and then you're getting fitter and fitter, you have to go for longer and longer. Well, with those type of classes, you can do the same length class, but you can make the exercises harder. You can, get deeper, jump higher, push up lower, whatever.
And you do find people do that.
So you actually don't have to spend more time doing the class. You can do the same length of time, but increase the intensity as you get stronger and fitter, right? Now that is time efficient for people who have very busy lives.
Yeah. Or just don't want to spend all day and night exercising.
Exactly.
It's fun, but you don't want to do it constantly all day, every day.
So if you were to look at, let's say you've got 7 days in someone's diary, right? And they were trying to figure out what would be a great mixture of cardio and strength that they could be doing. Let's take an average 45-year-old woman who wants to drop some body fat and gain some muscle, i.e. lose weight, tone up. Yep. And she works full-time, she's got a family. Like, what should she be doing in terms of cardio versus strength?
I would be looking at, let's talk about 100%, okay? 100% is all you got time for in the week. I would be looking at a breakdown of about 60 to 70% should be strength-based. 30 to 40% should be cardio, no more than that. Yeah. And cardio can be doing it at the same time, like we just talked about, or it could be just adding in some extra walking, running, a dance class, a cardio class, an aerobics class, jumping on the bike, jumping on the treadmill, anything like that. But you shouldn't be spending all day, every day, jumping on the treadmill, going on the bike, running, and then just a little bit of strength. Because if you look at it, and there's nothing wrong with running. If that's something you enjoy, go for it. Crazy. If you want to cycle, go for it. That's what you want to do.
And look, and I do want to preface here as well is that this is very general information because this is very dependent on your goals. Obviously, if you have a goal of wanting to be a marathon runner, then okay.
Or a cyclist.
You have to train very
specifically for that.
You need to be doing those types of trainings, right?
Yes.
But like I said before, if you're just an average 40-something-year-old woman who wants to drop some body fat, gain a little bit of muscle, that lose weight, tone up
the most efficient way to do it is...
The most efficient way is definitely having a more strength-based training routine than cardio-based.
So let's just give the people listening, just for what we do, okay? So if you're a member of Fit to Last and you come to any of our classes or workouts or things like that, I'm just going to break down very quickly the classes that would be strength-based and the classes that would be cardio so that you know in your head, if you're putting together your weekly schedule, which ones might be more beneficial for you. So for us, Hustle, Strength and Toning is a strength class.
Definitely. A 30-minute strength class using
Hustle
light weights.
Fit is a strength and cardio class together. Flex and Flow is predominantly a recovery and strength class. Okay,
and that's a whole other webinar that we are going to cover about rest and recovery and why that's equally as important as strength and cardio.
Ab Express would be a strength class, okay? Strong Nation would be a strength and cardio class. Boxing is a strength and cardio class. You do both of those things. Zumba is a cardio class, 99%. It might be a tiny element of strength, but not really. It's mainly a cardio class. What else? What else do we teach these days?
Viraflow.
Viraflow would be a recovery. Little element of strength.
Yeah. Any sort of boot camps that we do are generally based around strength
with some
cardio. Obviously, personal training that we do as well is dependent on the client.
So if you're looking at those classes, that gives you a good idea. I hope you had a pen and paper or just go back a little bit and write that down. But that should give you a good idea of what type of classes they are and how you can structure what you do for the week. And that would be the best advice I think you can give for that.
Definitely. I'd love to revisit on our next webinar about the whole like recovery and why things like stretching and mobility training and recovery days and rest and all that, like why they're equally as important as your strength and cardio.
Enhance what you do.
Yeah, they enhance very much these types of workouts, but we'll save that for another one. So
yes, we will.
I hope that was really helpful and insightful. And we always try to keep some of this information in really like basic terms, so it's understandable for, everyone, the average person to understand. So let us know in a comment below. We'd love to know, what you liked best about this, and if you learned something, if there was like a golden nugget takeaway, or if you're going to structure your week a little bit differently.
Yeah, or if you want any advice or anything more personal, tailored, reach out to us.
For sure. Until then, we hope you enjoyed this wellness webinar series today, and we look forward to bringing our next one next month.
Signing off. Catch you later, guys.